Hi, and welcome to today's athlete feature. We're going to jump straight into it. So, we have a very special guest here today. Who are you and what is your sport?
So, hi, I'm Rob Januszewski. I'm a wildwater canoer, 22 years old from Melbourne, Australia.
Awesome. And how long have you been paddling for?
I started paddling when I was about 11, so 2011. And then I've been competing domestically in canoeing since 2014. And then internationally, I've been on the international circuit for it since 2017. So I've been competing for a while now. That's been good.
We spoke about it briefly before, but just so we can help our listeners
Yeah,
understand, just to raise awareness for the
yeah,
sport, can you please help us understand the difference between slalom and wild
yeah,
water canoeing?
easy. So essentially, it is the same venue. So you're still on a whitewater course, be it a river or Olympic artificial. So with slalom, you've got the slalom poles, and that's 1 to 25 going down the course in a sequence. With the wildwater canoeing, you're essentially removing the poles. So you have a sprint race going down the course, which is usually between 400 and 800 meters. And then you also have a distance event for wildwater canoeing, which is about 3Ks to 6Ks. So they're intertwined within the one race. So yeah, that's the difference.
Awesome. Thank you for, and sorry for the silly
That's all
question, but
good.
it's good to,
All good.
it's quite ignorant of me that I didn't realize the difference, but it's good to know.
Good.
I would love to know, whilst you have been paddling, have you had something outside of sport to pursue?
Yeah. So obviously starting younger, I had school. So school was pretty much my main focus up until 2018. So yeah, completing like year 12 and all that stuff was pretty important to me. And then once I obviously graduated school, I decided to go into uni. So I did a 4-year course at RMIT doing construction management. So I finished that last year, so I did it full time. And then, yeah, on the side of that, I've been jumping around between jobs. So first year of uni, I was working as a subcontractor, so doing like skilled labouring for different people, um, and like ticket events and stuff like that. So I did that a couple of days a week just to obviously make a little bit of money for the sport and all the funding. And then obviously COVID happened in 2020. So a lot of people like would know that sport was kind of removed, not really removed, but
Put on
yeah,
hold.
put on hold. So I wasn't actually allowed to paddle. It was deemed unsafe for health reasons. So
Yeah.
I went into a trade for 2 years. So I was working for a tiler. So I did that for 2 years, while obviously still doing full-time uni online. And then, yeah, last
Yeah.
year,
That would have been,
sorry.
sorry to interrupt, that would have been great experience having both sides of the coin
Yeah,
in that
yeah, it was
industry.
terrific. Like really giving me good grounding from where I am now to like obviously the tiling and stuff. And I had a really good like bunch of mates in the company that I'm still really close with. So it was definitely a win for like a bit of a rough period, obviously for everyone with the pandemic. Um,
Yeah, definitely.
and yeah, and then like obviously for my final year last year, I got my final year of uni, so I decided to come off the tools because everything started to open up again. And I got into a grad program for a commercial builder. So I did that alongside finishing my final year of uni and sport. And yeah, I'm still there. So I'm still at the commercial builder now as a graduate. So
Awesome.
yeah, that's what I've been doing.
Um, Yeah, definitely. I'd love to break that down a little bit for people who may be listening, because I feel like, especially younger athletes, they maybe they've decided they want to pursue full-time sport, and athlete wellbeing managers are recommending that they study or do something else, which is a great encouragement. But how did you know that you wanted to study construction management? Because I feel like unless you know exactly what you want to
Yeah.
do, it's sometimes a bit hard to know what you want to do. So how did you know about construction management? It's definitely an industry now that's obviously booming.
Yeah.
So maybe good planning on your behalf.
Yeah. It's a bit of a difficult one, to be honest. So my mum actually works in the industry as like a consultant. So not dissimilar role, but still a bit separate. So I was always kind of around the industry growing up. And then, as like many young people, like athletes or just in general, I had like not a clue really in like year 11, you know. It's not like it's totally normal. And I decided with a bit of persuasion from the parents to go see a careers counselor. And it was probably like, yeah, it was
Nice.
probably the best thing I ever did because quite a lot of schools will do like tests. You like tick a couple boxes and it says like, you know, you might be this, this, and this job. So I had like somewhat of an idea, and you can kind of see yourself in that. But when I went and saw this careers counsellor, I was like, you know, I have an interest in construction. I always have as a young kid growing up. You know, I'll look at trade work, but I also, like mentioned, I'm an athlete. You know, I have a full time, you know, training all the time. You know, your body is already taking a beating from training. You know, you're always tired. And they're like, oh, you know, there's these other courses in a management role of construction, which I never really thought about being young. And yeah, I kind of looked into it, like did my research, and I was quite intrigued and could see the potentials going both ways, even if I did want to go back into a trade. So yeah, that's what I went for. You know, obviously looked for the unis, and that's a really good thing. Like uni with sport, you know, a lot of unis now have the like an elite athlete program. So
Very supportive.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I really wanted to know. Like also like picking a degree at like the degree for the right uni, but also making sure like if I'm doing an athlete program, like it's the right one for me. So yeah,
That's great
yeah,
advice. Thank you for sharing.
mhm.
And great persuading by your parents. I
Yeah.
think that's a
Very
very
very fortunate. I forgot they know what is required of me. So yeah.
One last question. It's going super quick, but what advice would you give your younger self or any other athlete that finds themselves in similar shoes to you?
Yeah, I think being young, like, you know, you only live once. I think that's like a pretty big one to live by. So I would just, you know, take every opportunity you can because, you know, it's only going to come around once. And that's what I like. You know, I had a misfortune of a pandemic, you know, and that's like something completely out of my control. But like for me, I was meant to go on exchange overseas with sport and uni. So that was like a big thing that I think like as an athlete and someone wanting to study, that's like a terrific thing to look forward to. But also, like speaking of that, like you always do want to have, I guess, a backbone. Like for me personally, I'm very like routine and outcome orientated. So I personally like to have something that I can kind of like cement myself in and you know grow. And it doesn't have to be quickly; it can be very gradual. So that's why I guess I stayed doing like a full time uni degree. You know, I know that I have the opportunity to do a career. Like, you know, I didn't have to go into a job out of uni, but you know, I've chosen to do that. Um, you know, and I can see myself slowly building that up, even beside my sport. You know, there's no need to sacrifice one or the other as an athlete. You know, you can make it work. It's not the end of the world. I think a lot of younger people, especially myself, looking back at it, I think like they make you want to choose one or the other, and I don't think that's relevant. You know, I think opportunities are there to do both, and you know, just do
Yep.
it. You know, yeah,
Matter of finding that
yeah, and the
balance.
balance is like there's so many like platforms and like people out there, like mentors that you know they encourage you to like you know balance everything because you know that's what you have to do in life, and I think it's really good. I think that's like something younger people should aspire to is balancing more than one thing because it makes a better person, I think, as well. So yeah,
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time, Rob.
good. Thank you very much, Steph.